Chair, allow me to begin by correcting what Senator Kitui has said. It is not the governors who have been misadvised. It is the governors misadvising our national leaders. It is the governors who have misadvised my party leader about the position of... this is true. You know, Chair, I said in Diani because I didn't want to attend that conference that was held in your county. Not because I don't like the people of Homa Bay. It's a beautiful place. But this jamboree that is put together by the governors without any recourse to other institutions that are involved in devolution, was a platform where they poisoned and misadvised the minds of the national leaders to pronounce themselves on certain things. I said in Diani that if you are in a position of advising any leader in this country, I was telling the Attorney General that what leaders need in this country is not prayer. Although prayer is important, if you are in a position of Attorney General, your responsibility is to give proper advice to your boss. Even when it comes to matters of devolution, these governors are the ones who are misadvising Mzee. Because you remember when we had a meeting with the party leader in the Senate, when he came out of that meeting, the pronouncements he made, including strengthening the place of Senate in order for devolution to succeed, those were the proper words or the proper advice that Jacom gives. And I know his mind. I know his position on devolution. He's the father of devolution. I was very shocked to hear some of those pronouncements because I know he's been misadvised. Number two, Honorable Chair, I know that Article 96 of the Constitution places upon us the responsibility to oversight monies that go to devolved units. It is there in plain black and white. And in fact, the Supreme Court extended it when the governors were trying to argue that we only oversight the revenue that comes from shareable revenue, the national share, and not on-source revenue. The Supreme Court extended and said we can oversight both on-source revenue and money that comes from the equitable share. If you look at Article 125 of the Constitution, it gives Parliament and its committees the power to summon anybody. Anybody. It doesn't have to be a governor. We can summon these people from the media. If we wanted to have a conversation with what is his name? My friend Mauritius Oduor, who's behind that camera. If we want to summon him, we can sit there on that chair and take oath. Any person can be summoned by committees of Parliament. So it is improper advice to tell leaders that the Senate or the committees of this House cannot call governors to appear before this. Honorable Chair, the controversy was settled in that case that Senior Counsel has referred to by the Supreme Court. When governors tried to argue that they should not appear before the Senate, it was made very clear that the county assemblies exercise what they call primary oversight, and that the Senate exercises secondary oversight. Our biggest frustration as members of the Senate is that we have a leadership that do not know how to defend the institution. So aspersions are cast about the conduct of committees, the conduct of Parliament, the conduct of the Senate. You have your speaker there. He doesn't say anything. You have the majority leader, the minority leader, they don't say anything. By now, I expect Honorable Chair to have a statement from Honorable Mazayo and Honorable Cheriot defending the institution and putting the record straight. Our speaker, he's nowhere to be seen. And even you, Chair, I want to challenge you when the Senator for Kitui has said, Chair, if you don't defend this committee, because this committee was specifically singled out, they say we are the rent seekers in the Senate. Chair, if you don't defend us today, we are willing to move a motion of your removal. Today. Because we cannot continue like this. If somebody has any evidence, let them present it. I don't think, Chair, we have ever sent you to get money from anybody. We don't send our chairs there. In this committee, there is no welfare. There is no member for welfare here, as far as I know. So, Chairman, you just know that you, as a leader of this committee, have a responsibility to defend this committee. We can't do it on our own and individually. I'm putting the leadership of the Senate on notice. The Speaker must defend his institution. He is the head of the House. Our leadership, the majority and minority leader, they should not go to those meetings to just make jokes about welfare. They should defend the institution and call out the hypocrites who are pointing fingers at Parliament, and yet we know they are the originators of corruption in this country. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. I know you made very strong remarks, but we must also reflect that we've got the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, which governs how unethical conduct is dealt with in Parliament. And maybe the other speakers can address themselves to that, because if there are allegations of misconduct on the part of Parliament, it is a speaker who chairs the relevant committees who should then call for evidence so that we can go through the processes of determining whether members are engaging in unethical conduct. So all those are instruments that are already available to us in law that we must exhaust before Sifuna moves the motion of impeachment against the speaker. Who goes next?
Vice Chair, to really agree how to proceed with Governor Sang, because the last time he was here, we sent him away because he was not prepared.
I'm on their knees to the Senate. But when I spoke to an old man from my county yesterday, when those decisions or maybe those conversations came up in yesterday's meeting, that old man is a former member of Parliament, and he said, we know the law. Those are just, PR exercise. Nyinyi kama senators mfanye kazi yenu. So as he has said, let us do our job. The rest, they will fight for it outside there. And I thank you. For those who don't appear or refuse to appear, we must take serious action against them. Otherwise, Senate should close its doors and go to bed. I thank you.
Thank you. Samburu, Deputy Whip of Majority.
Chair, thank you. Chair, last time when we were having the governor here, there were several issues that we needed to go through as a committee that were pointed out by the Auditor General. And the governor agreed with the committee for more time to furnish the committee with the documents. So I don't know the reasons why now that he has that opportunity to appear before this committee, but he is writing a letter in the evening at night informing the committee that he is not able to appear before this committee. So Chair, I think the right thing we do as a committee is let's not give him a chance of invitation. Let's summon the governor to appear before the committee to answer or to shed light on those issues that have been pointed out by the Auditor General. Thank you.
Chair, can I add?
Okay, Senator,
since this is my county, I would request also that apart from summoning him, the committee should also fine him, as my colleagues have said. They should fine him because the last time they were non-provision of documentation. And I think we wanted to give governors a second bite of the cherry in consideration of these audit reports. We always do it in good faith. So Chair, I agree. And all the governors must be aware that they need and should appear. Just to add on what the Deputy Minority Whip has said, Chair, is while Parliament is under attack, the leaders of institution must and should be at the forefront to correct what is being peddled in public. Because the people making those statements are not members of Parliament. There are people who are not elected and they don't sit in Parliament. So I think the leadership, the speakers of both houses, because Chair, after yesterday meeting, some of us are caucusing, both speakers of the House must be put on notice that they are working on a very dangerous path. And members are thinking otherwise. That if this accountability is taken a notch higher, they might become the casualties of what is happening. And they will go before we go. Thank you, Chair.
I think that's the saying that fish rots from the head. So if the fish is rotten, it starts from the top. I think if I was to summarize what my colleagues have submitted, there's been quite a lot of debate over the role of Parliament, and particularly the oversight role of Parliament. Some commentators have spoken about the Constitution as it ought to be. We are concerned about the Constitution as it is. My party leader speaks about the Constitution and the law as it ought to be, and he gives a very rich background on the constitution-making exercise and the compromises that were made at Bomas, and we respect that because he's got a lot of insight. But this is a constitution that we have. which contains Article 96, which empowers the Senate to conduct oversight of a national revenue allocated to counties, and that has been qualified to include the on-source revenue and conditional and unconditional grants. So we are here pursuant to the constitution that we have, not the constitution that we should have had at Bomas. We are here pursuant to Article 229(8) of the Constitution that requires the Auditor General to bring audit reports to Parliament and gives us a timeline for their consideration and for making recommendations. We are here pursuant to the Public Audit Act that has very clear procedures on how Parliament should deal with audit reports. We are here pursuant to the decision of the Supreme Court on the oversight role of the Senate. In fact, in the 11th Parliament, governors refused to appear before this committee. It took almost 5 years for this litigation to be concluded, and it was established that governors as chief executive officers, they are defined as such in the Constitution, have a responsibility to appear before Parliament and county assemblies to defend or to provide accountability for their expenditure. We are in no way taking away the power and the duty of the county assembly. The county assembly remains the primary overseer. And there is no day when the Senate tried to veer into that terrain. When it comes to budgets, that's the exclusive role of county assemblies. When it comes to appointments, that's the exclusive role of county assemblies. When it comes to integrated development plans, exclusive role of county assemblies. When it comes to expenditure, quarterly expenditure review, exclusive role of county assemblies. And so those who are saying governors and counties should appear before the county assembly are not wrong. They are only wrong to the extent that that should be the final point of